I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is body count. It's time that I weigh in on this subject, and I might ruffle a few feathers in the process. Body count, or a woman's number of previous sexual partners, is a topic that is highly relevant to a large number of men. In general, this number is taken as a proxy for a woman's capacity to pair bond and as a signifier of her goodness of fit for a long-term relationship. And while there is some evidence to suggest that women with lower body counts are more likely to be loyal and committed in their relationships, this evidence needs to be taken with a large dose of salt. Let's get to it. In my opinion, rooting around in a woman's sexual history is actually a bad idea. And it's a bad idea for many reasons. First and foremost, reviewing a woman's sexual history suffers from the same liability as most forms of assessment. Namely, absence of evidence is not evidence of an absence. A cancer screening, for example, cannot give you positive evidence that you are cancer-free. It can just fail to detect the existence of any cancer, which is not the same thing. By the same token, failing to discover anything concerning in a woman's sexual past doesn't prove that no such experiences exist. You just might not have found them. This could reflect a true absence of evidence, but it could also indicate that you didn't ask the right questions, or that she's good at hiding, lying, and/or destroying evidence. And of course, anything that you do find won't be reassuring, my dude. Like, a cancer screening can only give you bad news when it finds something, right? So, men who are highly concerned with a woman's body count, I have to ask, why do you do this to yourselves? You literally can only find things that would disqualify a woman and potentially inflame your retroactive jealousy. This is similar to why I don't recommend going through your partner's phone. In any case, you will not find anything in terms of positive evidence in a woman's past that will reassure you once and for all as to her future. So why do this to yourself? Curiosity killed the cat, so be careful what you go looking for. And even if you disagree with me on this point, we now come to my second argument. It's not a good idea to root around in her sexual past because you will never, ever, ever know the truth. Even if the woman is swearing up and down that she's telling you the truth, she's not. And she shouldn't, because nothing good can come from telling the truth here. And I have to ask, why bother asking a question if you know you're going to be lied to? Like, just save your breath, my dude. And women have a good reason to lie. According to a study performed on exit surveys completed by women leaving shelters, quote, jealousy was the main topic of the argument that led to the physical abuse. That's from Buss's The Evolution of Desire. Just like it's not a good idea to go around poking rattlesnakes and slapping bears, it's a good idea for women to take a wide berth around circumstances that could potentially inflame male jealousy. Just tell me the truth. I won't judge you. Is the male equivalent of just tell me the truth. I won't get upset. And most men learn the hard way that when a woman says that, it's not actually true. Men do judge women for their body counts, and this judgment can result in very real and very negative consequences for women. As I've said before, if you punish the truth, you're asking to be lied to. So don't expect honesty from women on this issue. If you're interested in taking your understanding to the next level, I would encourage you to check out the Captain's Quarters, my members-only self-improvement community. Your monthly membership will get you access to a cadre of like-minded, supportive individuals, bi-monthly group consultation sessions hosted by yours truly, and exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. Click the link in the description for more information. Hope to see you aboard. Now, people lie. but people don't like being liars. So women have developed a tactic to take advantage of the strategic benefits of lying while reducing the likelihood that they will be perceived, both by others and by themselves, as liars. Namely, they count differently. This is an enduring problem in statistical analysis and research design as well. Knowing the actual number is generally less important than understanding how that number was reached. And most women are not going to be sharing their inclusion and exclusion criteria with you. For instance, a woman might not count the guy who only lasted 30 seconds. She might not count the guy she regretted sleeping with. She might not count the guy she slept with when she was drunk because she actually doesn't have a clear memory of what happened. And she might not count any of the men with whom she didn't have vaginal penetrative intercourse. And these are just a few possible exclusion criteria. In fact, many women only count the men with whom they've been in a relationship. And trust me, this number is almost always less, and in some cases significantly less, than her real body count. My point here is that there is little reason to become monomaniacally focused on the accuracy of a woman's number because you're never going to know the truth, one way or the other. So why do guys do this? Well, as I've said, it's often because they believe that women with lower body counts make more loyal and committed long-term partners. A statistic they like to use to corroborate this belief is the divorce rate among virgins. And this is a real thing. The divorce rate among couples who save themselves for marriage is very, very, very low compared with the general population, like 6% compared with 55%. The facts are the facts. You can't argue with them. However, it's also important to consider that only around 3% of people are virgins when they get married. So this is extrapolating from a relatively small percentage of the population, and that there are likely other things like strong religious engagement and severe cultural pressures that are the real protective factors around such marriages over and above the mere fact that they hadn't shared their bodies with anyone else before they tied the knot. This is important to understand because, in my opinion, body count is too often used as an easy proxy for, let's say, purity and inexperience, two things that men value highly in long-term partners. But body count and purity are not the same thing, especially when considered in light of women's accounting. For example, I've done a number of consultations with guys who live in the Republic of Georgia. Georgia is a very Christian country, and apparently it's a culture in which a woman's virginity is still highly prized. Like, it's difficult for a woman to get married if she's not a virgin, in the sense of having her hymen intact. However, an intact hymen doesn't necessarily mean that she hasn't blown 50 guys and taken it up the ass, which has long been a favorite loophole among God-fearing folk. In any case, yes, she might still have her hymen, but is such a woman really pure and inexperienced? There are ways around this. And I found this to be the case with respect to many exceptionally beautiful women. Like, they can plausibly say that they have low body counts with respect to vaginal intercourse, but that's only because they found other ways to satisfy the resource for sexual opportunity transaction that undergirds their relationships. And that doesn't necessarily make them wife material as a result. The upshot here is that if body count is going to be used as a proxy for purity and inexperience, it absolutely has to be taken in light of additional evidence. Whether you like it or not, you can't go on body count alone. And men who are too fixated on this number generally are so to their own detriment. That's what I got for you. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Let me know in the comments below. And please, send this episode to someone who you think might benefit from its message. I know you know someone who needs to hear this because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. Other value propositions. Anyone looking to join my free weekly newsletter, for which I write original content, or book a paid one-on-one consultation with yours truly can do so through my website. There's also my best-selling book, The Value of Others, in which I explore the economic model of relationships, and my private member community, The Captain's Quarters, where, among other things, I host bi-monthly live group consultation calls. The links to everything are in the description below. Check them out if you are so inclined. As always, I appreciate your support, and thank you for listening.